Virtual Blythe Retreat, and that came in my goodie bag, and I made her some pants, which I'm going to show my process. But what I did was I found my little card from my Mori Lolli Doll. I wanted to try and make the same pants for my Mori Lolli Doll Coco here, and I'm just going to sew all the way along. And by the way, this isn't a tutorial. I'm just kind of sharing my process with you, so just so you can see that it's, you know, not that hard. It is doable, and Tammy gives really good instructions, but they're both wearing their hip hop pants. Hello, my cherished doll friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl. I have my little Blythe doll here. As some of you may remember, I attended Virtual Blythe Retreat last weekend. And although I was working for most of the weekend and I had a party to go to, I didn't get to spend too much time on the actual weekend doing the projects, but I've been playing catch up throughout the week. And so I did a bit of the sewing projects, and I just thought I would bring my little Blythe doll here. She's wearing her little t-shirt that says Dance VBR, Virtual Blythe Retreat, and that came in my goodie bag, and I made her some pants, which I'm going to show my process. And I just thought I'd bring you along as I tackle a couple of these sewing projects and just give you kind of a sense of what it felt like to be working on them and following the tutorials. And it was lots of fun and relaxing. And so if you feel like hanging out with me for a little bit of sewing and doll talk, please stay tuned, or feel free to fast forward if it's getting a bit slow moving. And I tried to cut a lot of it out, but you know, I was talking and stuff. So yeah, if you like it, keep watching. At the end, I'll show you how the dolls turned out. So I hope that you'll stick around and comment at the end to let me know if you attended Virtual Blythe Retreat and what projects you actually completed. Okay, let's go. I was working and had other activities over the weekend of Virtual Blythe Retreat, and unfortunately I couldn't participate live as much as I liked. I did comment a lot, and I did a few little things. I posted my coloring page. There's the coloring page that Karyn designed. Isn't that wonderful? I didn't even finish coloring it, but that's how far I got on that. I did manage to just today, last night, finish the pants, the little hip hop pants, and the little tote bag for my little Fakey Blythe there, Gretel. So she's in my little studio that I haven't quite finished yet either. I'm in the process of figuring out the design of that. And then this is my table. It's just a disaster of activity and stuff and crafts. And right now what I'm trying to do is I want to make those hip hop pants. I want to try and alter the pattern that Tammy gave us. I'm not going to show too much of that pattern because it was exclusive to the Blythe Retreat. But what I did was I found my little card from my Mori Lolli Doll. I wanted to try and make the same pants for my Mori Lolli Doll Coco here. And so we have the measurements here of her, and then I got my Blythe doll and kind of wrote down the measurements to compare. And so I'm basically just figuring out the difference between the two, and I tried to just make the pattern a bit. My cutting was all weird here, but I will fix that when I cut it out. But I'm going to try and make them more to the dimensions of the Mori Lolli doll and see how that turns out. And then if it works, I'll try and share those details once this pattern and tutorial are public to everybody. But so we're going to work on that today. I'll give you a few little peeks into how it's going, and then yeah, I'll show you the end result if it turns out. So yeah, I'm having lots of fun in my dolly space today, just playing with the crafts and catching up on all the dolly things. And this little girl wants to have some dance pants too, so we're going to try and make some for her. So I'm just about to hem the little pants now. I've basically cut out the two pieces and turned up the bottom by 1/4 of an inch, and now I'm going to sew those. So I've already made the one pair, as I said, for my Blythe doll, and they turned out really well. I did have a little trouble with the elastic getting stuck in the seam, but I'm not sure why. It was a very small pin that they provided for us, which was excellent. If it had been any bigger, I never would have gotten it through at all, but probably just my seams weren't very straight or something, and it just got jammed up in between and I couldn't get it through, but I finally did. Wow, that's a long piece of thread. So yeah, the Virtual Blythe Retreat was lots of fun. I didn't get to participate live for too much of it. That's why I'm kind of playing catch up now, a few days later. So I'm just gonna get to sewing here and we're gonna see if we can make these same pants for Miss Coco. I prefer doing the hand sewing because my machine intimidates me a little bit. And I'm just going to do a straight stitch. It's a bit fiddly, but one thing I like about sewing doll clothes is that the sewing goes by quickly because everything is teeny tiny. It's a bit faster if you catch a few at once. Speeds up the process. So there were so many activities to do. There was this sewing project. There was a t-shirt to make, which I may try that as well. There's 2 jewelry tutorials, which I may try, but I'm not quite sure. I did buy all the stuff for it, the tools and the wire and everything, the aluminum wire. It was supposed to be copper wire, but that's all I could find. I'm really curious to see if these will fit my Mori Lolli doll. So that looks okay. This thread is a perfect match. You can't even see my sewing, which is probably a good thing. All right, so I'm gonna listen to the tutorial some more and see what the next steps are. There's my hem. Some of my stitches are bigger than others. So now I've got my 2 pieces facing together, right sides facing together, and I pinned the bottom corners because I want to make sure the length of my pants stay the same because I struggled with that on the first pair. I had to adjust a little bit. And then so I've pinned just the one side around the curve here, and I'm going to sew around here. So there's quite a few projects in the retreat. It had everybody very busy all weekend. I never would have been able to keep up. But some of them I'm not sure if I'll be trying because they are more Blythe related projects, like taking the faces apart and learning how to change eye chips. And those are all really great workshops for people who have Blythes and like to customize them. I don't do that. That's why I bought the Mori Lolli dolls actually, because they're so much easier to customize and I don't have to take any heads apart. But yeah, there's some very good tutorials from people who are very good at customizing these dolls. I haven't really looked at them yet. What else? We had a hairstyle one where we all had to, well, it was a braiding tutorial, which a lot of people know how to braid, but not everybody does. You'd be surprised. So Jeannette did a braiding tutorial, and I went ahead and braided my Gretel's hair. I took it out right away though because I kept it for the pictures, and then I took it out because Gretel has really curly hair, and I was afraid that it was going to mess up her curls too much if I left it in. So the jewelry making, you have to learn how to make jump rings. I did buy one little tool, rounded pliers, I guess they are. We're meant to use those for making jump rings, and then we're gonna put a bunch of them together to make a necklace, I believe. We'll see if I get to that. I more joined the retreat for the camaraderie and just to see what everybody was doing and support Virtual Blythe Retreat. I've watched it every year. Well, you can't actually watch it. You have to be on the Facebook group to see what's going on. So you have to be a member of the retreat, but I was watching all the updates and all the videos that they were doing, talking about it. I felt bad every year that I wasn't joining. So this year I really wanted to participate as much as I could. So, and actually I'm finding it so fun even after the fact, just working on these projects in my own time. And every time I finish something, it just makes me so happy. All right, so I'm supposed to stop here. let's see what's next. So we're at this stage now where I've sewn this just on one side. And so when you open it up, it kind of already starts to look like a little pair of pants. So I'm going to go downstairs to my iron and iron this flat. And then we're making a casing for the elastic waist. Yeah. So I've now folded over and pinned for the casing for the elastic. And I'm just going to sew all the way along. And by the way, this isn't a tutorial. I'm just kind of sharing my process with you. So just so you can see that it's, not that hard. It is doable. And Tammy gives really good instructions. So you don't have to feel intimidated. It's not that hard if you follow exactly what she tells you to do. It's very simple if you have even basic sewing skills. Now she's using a sewing machine. I'm doing this by hand, which is an option. And I find it quite relaxing sewing by hand. In a way, it gives you more control. Hoping I have enough thread to get all the way across, but I might have to rethread my needle. We'll see. I've got to make sure I'm catching it on the back. Oh yeah, because the elastic has to go through that gap there. Kind of doing bigger stitches here to make this go by faster. I think it's okay. It's not like she's gonna pull at the seams. She's a doll. So I'm just trying to encourage myself to do more sewing for my dolls because it's such a relaxing activity and it's a great way to save money on buying dolls and doll clothes. It's an extra activity to do with my dolls. So I'm really grateful for these workshops at Virtual Blythe Retreat, giving us so many ideas. Kim from the Dolls, the Witch, and the Wardrobe did such an excellent tutorial on how to make a set for your dolls, like a dance studio. She did a rooftop scene with buildings and a sunset in the background, and it was so amazing. Very inspiring. I didn't do the exact same thing. I'm still working on mine, but it's some kind of a studio. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with that. Okay, so there we've got our waistband, and we're going to be feeding the elastic through here. I've done this once already, but I'm still going to listen to her tutorial to make sure I do it right. So she's telling me to do the elastic, and she uses 3 inches for, I didn't have to buy this elastic. It's really helpful. I have my grandmother's sewing kit, and it's got lots of things in there that she used over the years, and I knew that I had some elastic in there, so it's come in very handy. But anyways, for the Blythe pants, the measurement was 3 inches, and you mark it off, but she keeps a longer piece so that it's easier to feed through. So I've estimated the difference in the size is depending on the area. Let me just see my measurements here. So the Blythe waist is 8 centimeters and the Mori Lolli waist is 8.5 centimeters. So half a centimeter wider. So that's not that much actually. So it's almost, I'm just gonna do 3 1/4 inches, I think. Yeah. Give a little extra. So that's where I'm going to mark. This is one of those pens that disappears, it evaporates, so it's purple. Okay, so hopefully that is enough elastic. So we've got the pin. I don't know if any of you have done elastic threading before. I have done it when my grandmother used to sew, so I did learn some things, and I did take home ec in school. Sewing, so I do know some basics. My mom taught me this probably. So you just feed the pin through like this. And then pull the material, and then you should be able to get it all the way through. Now, like I said, I struggled with this the first time. So let's just see if I do any better this time around. I feel like this waistband is a little bit wider, and yeah, it was right here that I got stuck, and I feel it getting stuck again. I think it's because I used fray check, or I actually used white glue on the edges to keep it from fraying, and something in there is blocking the pin. No, don't do this to me again. Oh, I think I got it through. These are going to be so cute. I just hope they fit her. So we got the elastic through. So that is how they are now. Isn't that cute? I've never made pants before. I'm so excited to make these again. It's so fun. All right, so now I have to find where I marked it without losing. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so what we want to do is pin it together at that spot. So that's our waistband. So if I was smart, I would try it on her right now, actually. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, Missy, let's get you out of this beautiful dance costume you have on. I think we'll take the shoes off too. She's got lots of stuff on here. And look at these long socks she's wearing. Okay, we'll keep the underwear on, but we don't need all this extra stuff. Okay, now see how much wider her hips are though? Oh gosh. I hope this is gonna fit over her waist. This is what Tammy recommends for checking the size. Whoops, uh-oh, my pin came undone. I think this might work. Okay, yep, I think that's gonna work. Yes, okay. So I actually had to thread the elastic in again because when I was trying it on her, I didn't realize that it had popped. So I feel like it was too tight to begin with. So I think I'm just going to give her extra room. Instead of 3 1/4, I think I'll give her 3 1/2. So I think my camera was acting up and it didn't film that last little bit, but I did get the inner seam sewn together. I turned them inside out and here's my little pants. Aren't they cute? I'm going to go and iron them and hopefully they're going to fit my girl. I have the feeling they're going to be too long, but they're supposed to sort of bunch up at the bottom. So hopefully it'll be okay. I'll be right back. So here's my little Blythe pants and I made them for Coco, my Mori Lolli doll. So I adjusted the dimensions to make them a little bit bigger. So let's see if my calculations were correct and try them on her. Now I'm noticing her legs are quite short. When they measure the legs on the Mori Lolli chart, they actually measure right from, the leg measurement goes from the top of the hip, which makes it a bit deceiving. So I wasn't clear on how to measure the legs. And I'm gonna have to find a little top for her. Yeah, these are really long, but they're supposed to be bunchy. So I think we'll just give it a try and see if we can get them over her hips and her thighs. She's a little wider than our Blythe girls. Once we get them over the bumps. Sure, a lot of us have those problems, don't we? There we go. Okay, they fit. Yep, they do. They fit her in the waist just fine. They're definitely long. I would say these should be adjusted. They should be cut off, and because they're not supposed to bunch that much. I should put her shoes back on. And let's find her a top. Okay, so I found this little rainbow high top. It actually fits her. So yeah, for anybody who is interested in finding out if this pattern could be modified for the Mori Lolli doll, I would say yes, quite easily. I will have to hem these though. I did make them too long, and so I'm going to do that probably in a minute. I'm just going to cut them off, re-hem them, and get them to the proper length. But yeah, the waist fits fine. I think I did the right adjustment for the waist, and hopefully I think anybody who sews could easily adjust this. I know that Tammy Powley can certainly do it. So yeah, but it looks cute on her. Let me just fix the legs and I will be back. So I cut 1" off of each pant leg, and I'm just in the process of doing an invisible hemming stitch on the bottom here. I didn't want to stop. I was tempted to stop because I was a little frustrated that I wasn't smart enough to measure the leg length properly in the beginning, but I've been spending the afternoon working on this, and I didn't want to just stop there. I knew it would be pretty easy just to cut the legs off and turn them up. I did lose some of my secure stitching along here though, because I cut before the knot, so I had to restitch the bottoms of both legs just to make sure it stayed secure. So there they are, all finished for the second time. So that's a more appropriate length for a Mori Lolli doll. So I took about 1" off the bottom and then folded them up again by about 1/4 inch. So 1¼ inch less for the length of legs was better. So yeah, let's get them on her and get the final look for her. I'm glad I spent the time to redo those. The day has just passed me by, and it's already time to start supper. But I'm glad I at least finished a couple of things today. Finished the pants, and I finished the tote bag. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. Oh, they fit her good now. See, so if she has some little shoes on, and they'll bunch a bit at the bottom. That's how they're supposed to be. Sorry, I'm not giving you a very good look. There she is. Just thought I'd show you, this is how I keep my stash of Mori Lolli clothes. I love these little bedding bags for storing doll clothes because they're always such nice bags. I mean, look at the tassel. It's got a zipper. It's plastic. It's like totally protects everything. So I'm pretty sure I have I've got wigs in here. This is all my Mori Lolli stuff. And I'm pretty sure I have a little pair of boots in here. Aha! I think those will do. I don't have like little hip hop runners, but the little shoes she had on weren't quite right either. So I think we'll try these little boots on her and she will be set. So here are my girls doing a little hip hop. They've got their disco ball and their twinkle lights and a nice theater background. I still want to paint the sides black, but they're both wearing their hip hop pants, and the Mori Lolli doll got a little bit of a bigger size. I adjusted them to her and they turned out really well. I hemmed them up and they're perfect. So they're having a little dance together. That's Gretel and Coco. And look how cute they are. What do you think, everybody? This was the little tote bag I made too. So I managed to get the pattern well centered with the ballet shoes, and it says ballerina on one side, and on the other side it says on point, and there's a little heart and a flower there. So I was happy with that. My sewing wasn't so great on the handle there. There's a few loose loops there, but other than that, I think it turned out pretty cute. And the pants, they almost look like pajama bottoms, don't they? But they're pretty cute. They're very wide on her, but I had to adjust them for her dimensions. And yeah, so that's how they turned out. Very nice, very cute. Okay, I'm back. I hope that wasn't too long and boring for you to watch, and hopefully you skipped ahead. But here are the little pants that I made, as I showed you, and they look super cute on Gretel. She's a little hip-hop dancer, and I also made her this little tote bag, which turned out really cute as well. The sewing on the handle wasn't perfect, but actually it was quite easy to put together, and I enjoyed making it. And this fabric came in the goodie bag as well, so that was good. So I wanted to adjust the pattern to the Mori Lolli doll and see if that would work. So I'll show you her now. This is my little Coco girl. She's actually Winter Sweetie Mori Lolli. I changed her wig just temporarily because I like to change them around. And So she's got kind of pinkish blonde hair and big brown eyes. And so these are the little pants I made for her. I did have to make some adjustments to the measurements. I had to cut quite a bit off the pants, as you saw. So that's how she turned out. And I think she was happy to get her own pair of dance pants to dance the night away on Dance Like Nobody's Watching Virtual Blythe Retreat. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to hearing in the comments if you attended and what you made. Bye for now.